go for it.
Hey guys, it's time for another Watts Weekly. I told you I was working on moving my studio from my old space, which you guys have seen many Watts Weeklies done. We've kind of gone to the new format, so we're kind of uploading different content, older ones, because we've done like 100 of them. And so hopefully you're enjoying those, some of the old ones. Some of you are new to the program. You haven't seen those old ones, and we're going to be uploading those to our YouTube channel, so you can also go over and check them out there. But every week we're going to be adding a new one. So I thought every once in a while I'll throw in a new one. And so here's part of the school's actually over there, and then this building does kind of an L shape. So when you come in, this is the space we've been working on. You'll just see like fetching prints, and not originals, of course. I wish they were. I'd be retired right now. Some of my dad's old plein air paintings. When we come in here, these are some Dean Cornwell originals, little gouache paintings that I picked up years ago for his murals that he did up in Los Angeles, California. So those are kind of cool, just to see his little gouache comps. So there's a couple of them in here. We've got a couple of the guys sharing some space in here that are working for me for the atelier. Here's my studio that I'm working on. So I just put these big doors in. And when you come in, it's pretty crowded, but most studios are. So you'll kind of come on in, and you'll see that I've got it set up kind of with a perimeter. You can walk around ultimately. I mean, I've got a ladder over here and stuff, but this is a little area where I shoot my critique videos for the online streaming. So if some of you have been into streaming and you kind of wonder what my setup looks like, this is kind of what my setup looks like. And I usually have a camera, a tripod, with a little, my iPad over it that does the filming. Behind it, yeah, you just see a little sketch that's on there, but behind it you'll see a huge rack that I had built for storing my large frames, paintings, crates, panels to paint on, every different kind of panel you can imagine. Some I've done myself, leaded, some are just, so anyway, this is where everything gets stored. So I'm on in a nice storage area. I'll store it up top as well. Over here I have a large paper storage which stores all my old sketches, conceptual sketches I'm working on for painting ideas over here. So that's where I store all my preliminary drawings. Also nice papers I want to work on for long drawings. Those get stored in various areas. So I label everything according to like Western concepts, conceptual concepts. This is just handmade papers. So as I put things in here, I label them so I can find them easily later. There's gouache comps in here. There's all kinds of cool stuff. When you come over here, obviously you have the mega bookshelf, and that's where all my inspirational reading is along the top. That's more spiritual stuff, things that are just really motivational. Anything from Tony Robbins to all kinds of different things. Very top, you've got all kinds of obscure, famous artist courses and things of that sort. You've got all this is anatomy in through here. Pretty much all different anatomy books, composition, color theory, fantasy work, inkers, inking, fine art painters, contemporary illustrators, animators, I mean, you name it. So this is one of my things I'm most proud of, and I've talked to you guys about, and you can pull back here too, to get a little wider look of it. But this is one thing that's a rite of passage for most of you, is going to be building a good library. Now, a lot of you are going to be more modern, and you're going to probably do it via the internet. You're going to be downloading PDFs. You're going to be doing books, ebooks. You may not need this, but I love to just be able to go in here, pull out this book. I mean, every one of these books I'd say a good 3/4 of them I've gone through, I've gutted them, I've studied them. So this is your rite of passage for learning your craft, right? Now, I don't want to scare you off. I just want to inspire you and say, not everybody's going to invest this much money, time, and energy tracking down obscure, out-of-print books. I'm kind of nerdy that way. I love doing it. It's a real passion of mine. I love the smell of the old books. I love to hold them. I love to sit down, just leisurely read through them. I like to actually put them on my drawing board, copy from them. So again, the whole point of having a good library is that when you get in a conundrum on a painting, you say, like, for example, we have this painting over here, this little demo I did at the Oil Painters of America show this year. Cool little head. But say I'm having a hard time and I'm thinking, well, I want to, some kind of vignette idea. I might go over and pull out a Richard Schmidt book. Schmidt being one of the best vignetters ever. I'm trying to think of where I put it because I just got my books all organized. I think it's in my hard to find books over there. But I would pull that book out, and that might inspire me to figure out how to do this background. Now, if that was a painting that was going to sell for X amount, that might pay for that book 10 times over, just that one problem that I solved from looking at that book. Now, I'm not looking to copy necessarily from the book, but to get inspiration and to get ideas. So this is my little square working area here where I'll be working. I've got my tabaret over here. This is where my paints will be set out. Got all my palette knives, extra brushes, more brushes. All my paints get stored in this little tabaret here. The tabaret can flip up. It's glass, so I can put my paint out, clean it very easily. There's another tabaret. Well, these are just something I've got to mount on the wall. But this one here is a travel tabaret, glass in it, paints laid out. So I can use that, or I can use the one underneath it. Either one could work. One's for traveling, doing demos like that. Other one is more for studio work. The lighting system I use changes all the time. This is kind of a cool one. I forgot what this is, Light maybe. This one I won an award in OPA years ago or something, and I got a coupon for half off this thing or something. It's a pretty cool lighting system. The only thing I don't like about it is when I'm using a big painting that sticks out, because I like to paint in the frame at the end of a painting just to kind of see how it's going to look, and that frame comes out too far and the light won't hit the painting very well. So that's the only problem I have with that. I wish this would telescope out a little bit. I should call them and tell them. But anyway, we're going to squeeze past here. This is cool. Got the old school ladder in order to, if I need to get up to the top row here, I can just kind of shimmy up here. I've got, again, all the famous artist courses out of print. Very cool. Up here, some obscure books that won't fit in these shelves because they're too large. All kinds of stuff around here. So I'll probably, let me get down here, take this, move it aside so we can get past. Well, I'm still, once I get it all set up, it'll be a lot more user-friendly to move around. This is an old cool model stand that I got to get out of here. So open up some space here. It's just got some accoutrements laid on it, so don't worry about that. But over here is kind of the shrine area. That's my, lots of memories, lots of things that are very, very personal to me, kind of a meditation area for me. So I like to have a nice little area that I can so this will ultimately be a little meditation, stretching area, yoga area, kind of to stretch when you're doing long days at the easels, because you can get really cramped up. Over here, we have a little work area that is primarily for sketchbooking, inking. You can see some little sketchbooks stuff I was doing. That painting's just sitting there because it's, I didn't know where to put it. I haven't put it on the wall yet. Nice to have a little natural light coming in. That's the only thing with this studio that I wish was more like my last one, was more natural light coming in. But, a little bit's all I need. I just need to be able to see some natural sunlight, not feel like I'm in a prison or a cave or something. So as you look around here, you got everything stored really nicely. There's everything from my inking brushes to, like if I open up this, it's got all my rare inking, like my Winsor Newton Series 7s, my Raphaels. Don't want them smashed, very expensive brushes. Put those in nicely. Got quills down here and got some other accoutrements here. So all this stuff is well organized. Got my rack of gouache. Got all kinds of storage. Everything is in its place. It looks busy. It looks convoluted, but everything has its place. Everything has purpose down here. All my sketchbooks. We did a sketchbook Watts Weekly a while back. I also did one on Proco. If you want to go over and check that on YouTube, I go through and show all my sketchbooks, what I use them for. To me, sketchbooking is a fine art. It's not a doodle on a sketchbook and throw it aside and whatever. It's little fine art pieces, little idea generations, little things that are very personal to me. Some of my most personal work is done in my sketchbooks. So anyway, this is sketching. I've got pencils. I've got my pencil line up here that I travel with. It's got all my quick pencils and lead pencils and different hardnesses. And that's a nice little case that kind of folds up, and you can travel with it very easily without ruining your pencils. So that's my little drawing area. Up here, I have my world travels. These are the places I've been to in the world, different countries, different places. I'll continue to add to that. That's a passion of mine, as you all know. I like to paint my experiences. So one of the reasons I got into fine art in the first place versus illustration was that I wanted to paint what I want, when I want, live where I want, and make decent money doing that. Who wouldn't want to do that, right? So you work that's what you guys are in the middle of right now. You're training in order to open up your dreams. Whether those dreams are to work at DreamWorks or Blizzard or Rockstar, or you want to go work in entertainment, or you want to be a conceptor, or you want to be a travel painter like me, or you want to go out and be a plein air painter or a portraitist, you want to do commissioned portrait work, it's all available to you. The linchpin, awesome training. Got to be phenomenal. If you're not phenomenal, none of those doors will be open to you. If you're phenomenal, all those doors could be opportunities, right? Over here, I've got my Plein Air Painting Rig, one of them. I've got many of them. Some of them I store, I'll be storing up top there. This one is a travel one. Got my pack, my hat, my tripod. Behind that, some satchels. Down here, all the old school, sweet, old school palettes that I've used over the years. I know you don't see many people use them like this anymore, but that's the real deal. That's the Sargent, Soroya, Zorn, all those great painters. I mean, these are, you know, designed for outdoor painting, but I used to use them primarily even for teaching and for indoor painting. They're just really cool, and they're very user-friendly. A lot of people think they're just for show, but no, they're extremely efficient if you know how to use them properly. We go over here, we look at my flat file. This is all the drawings that I've done in my life, the good ones, not all of them. But if you open up this, man, you'll see just truckloads. Well, this is actually one of Jim's in there, because this is the wall hangers. These are all drawings students have done at the atelier that are going to go on the wall or get rotated out of the wall. And you've seen me do a Watts Weekly on that as well, right? Where I talk about our wall of fame, right? It's where people come in, they get good, and they aspire to get a piece on the wall, and that's to inspire other students. But that's kind of a rite of passage as well. So again, you see there's drawings in here. They're categorized according to figure drawings, male, figure drawings, female, quick sketch male, quick sketch female, male head, female head. These are just thousands of life drawings. Some of them 3 hours a piece. So if you look at just every one of these is just full of drawings. And so these are my racks. Down here, I've even got more drawings that couldn't fit in here. So you see just racks and racks and racks and pages, you know, and that was probably a quarter of the drawings I've done, right? These are all good ones. These are the ones that are worth keeping. I've thrown out 3 times it. Now, this is not, again, to scare you, to make you feel like it's hopeless. If you like drawing, it's just drawing, right? You're going to draw. You're going to draw because you like to draw. And the more you draw, the better you get. The more you want to draw. So ultimately, if you design your life around being a working artist or a teacher or any of that, you're going to be producing a lot of work. And the problem is, where do you store all that work, right? You'd like to sell it all, but unfortunately, not all of it sells like that, you know, or you just don't have an avenue. So a lot of it gets kept in these places because I really value them. This is my life's work, part of it, a good part of it, that was done through teaching at the atelier, 13 classes a week, 20 years of doing that, almost 30 years of doing that now. And I don't teach 13 anymore, obviously, because I'm just too old for that, you know. But I do love to still be right in the mix with everybody. Over here, we've got my hard-to-find books. These are very expensive, rare books. This one's Reppin' from the Reppin' Institute. I picked it up when I was over there with Stan Prokopenko years ago with his family. Behind this, because I've got too many books, I mean, these are all Fechin, Sarov, Kramskoy. These are all my Russian masters, all the top row here. If you look behind that, it's all Russian drawing books, Russian painting books. These are some of my favorite painters. I just love the way they paint. We've got all Sargent in here, mostly. So that's like, these are all Sargent books, probably 30 of them, right? Here's my little Schmidt section down here I was talking about, right? That's all Richard Schmidt books. Over here we have Alma Tadema, William Merritt Chase. Down here we have all Mucha, Soroya, Zorn. Those are primarily, all the bottom is taken up with those three guys. We've got a little Brangwyn over there. So a lot of cool stuff. Some Clark Ewings slipped in there. I don't know how, but got in the bottom there. But this is my rare books, right? So I just like to keep them separate. They're very valuable to me. Obviously, some of them could be 200, 300 bucks a piece. Not all of them, but there's some expensive books in there. So I also like to surround myself by pictures of my wife. She's awesome. She's the one that I do all this stuff for. Really, I mean, she's kind of my impetus. Got my, you know, adopted grandma back there, my dad, pictures of my dad, my family, my brothers, my sisters. So a lot of things that are meaningful to me because that brings energy into my work. It keeps me grounded. It makes me want to aspire to higher levels of accomplishment because I want to make them proud, but I also want to make myself proud. So there's a lot of reasons why I surround myself with such personal things. And I think a studio, if you get a chance to see most studios, they really have the imprint of the artist. Now, ideally, my ideal studio would be like an old Tuscan farmhouse, right? With freaking vaulted ceilings from 1540, you know, with stucco peeling off the walls and just, you know, beautiful light coming in. And I mean, of course, who wouldn't want that, right? So, but we work through different iterations. My last studio was probably one of the best ones I would ever have, but unfortunately, you know, you don't want to get too attached to them either, because life deals you a lot of weird things, and sometimes you have to move out of them. Sometimes you have to go from a really great one to a really crappy one and still keep a good attitude, still work through that, still produce magnificent work, no matter if you're working in a closet, right? And I've done things like that, right? So I've talked from experience. A lot of times you see my studios and you think, oh, Jeff's always got it good. He's always got these amazing studios, whatever. I mean, I've gone to some people's studios that you would die for. Scott Christensen, David LaFell. I mean, these different studios that are just these palatial, beautiful studios. And I think, you know, hey, why not? You know, I'm always proud and happy of people if they can acquire that, because good for them, right? They're out peddling their wares, they're getting good, they deserve it. I am nothing but inspired by people like that. I never am envious. I've never seen a studio and said, oh, you know, we should have. I mean, go into Soroya's studio sometime. 30-foot ceilings, palatial, marble everywhere. I mean, it looks like you walked into an Alma Tadema painting, you know? And it's, but he deserved it, right? That's his life passion. He was one of the greatest painters of all time. I would expect nothing less, right? But if he was working in an old shack somewhere, it wouldn't surprise me either, you know? I mean, I just think it comes in all flavors. I love to make my workspace very personal to me, because it's where I'm going to spend most of my life, right? So you know, just invest in your education, invest in your books, invest in your workspace, try to do the best you can. And every one that you work up, every notch is an accomplishment for you, a validation for the work done, a validation for how good you've gotten, how much work you've done. And you should be paid off for that. And you should be paid well for that. But you got to earn it first. Okay, I've got little storage stuff over here, casts around, tons of casts in the studio. You guys have seen the studio before. This is just a place to store solvents. You know, what else? This is going to mount my TV that is going to be not a TV, it's a computer, touchscreen computer that I can zoom in and out of when I'm working for my reference. And so the TV would be here. I'll move it over there when I'm painting, and then I can just reach over and pull my reference up and down, just like a touchscreen on your iPad. And that's kind of a cool thing to have if you want to paint a little bit more like you're painting from a live model versus from a photograph. So up here's medals that I've won: gold medal, silver medal, and bronze medal for the Master Signature OPA. Some honor awards from the Portrait Society of America. I have a lot of other stuff, but this is just some of my key ones. And then a bunch of the California Art Club commemorative stuff, and as well as Prix de West I was in for 10 years. So just lots of things that remind you of. There's a good picture of my dad up there. Gotta love that. I gotta have a picture of my one of my main heroes right above where I work. Over here, we have a Dean Cornwell original, which I'm very proud of. Something I picked up years and years ago. And it's a pretty notable painting of his that you'll see in the Dean Cornwell book. But it's fun to have that kind of work around you because it inspires you. And again, I've never been one of those artists that tries to get deals on other artists' work. I think it's incredibly valuable, and it brings such inspiration, and it opens up your workspace. So all these walls will ultimately be covered with probably studies and paintings of mine. I just haven't gotten all my paintings up here from my other studio. So as you come through here, we have a little tabaret here. It's the back side of it. But again, I can store all my pencils, my extra pencils, things like, you know, just different papers and stuff. Again, everything being utilized. Here's my projector, my opaque projector. This is an old school Artograph. They don't make them anymore. Very cool. Love this tool. You can get Artographs hard to find now. They're wonderful, but you know, basically what you do is you put your reference in here. So this opens up, reference goes in here. It's got a mirror in there with a lens, and then you close it, and then you basically use these to expand and contract the image down here, which you can then project onto a surface. A lot of people think it's cheating. Oh, that's tracing. It's cheating if you don't know how to draw, right? If you don't know how to draw, don't use one of these. If you are spent, you know, like me, 30 years drawing, tens, hundreds of thousands of hours drawing, this is just a tool to expedite the process. If you're in the middle of an illustration job, in the middle of some piece where you need to scale things up, multiple images, this is a great tool to have. So I'm a big fan of projectors, but they need to be used properly and respectfully according to your development. I used to be really kind of strict about not allowing the students to use these for the first 2 or 3 years they were with me. And then once they proved their drawing skills, then we would open that up. So anyway, that's kind of my studio in a nutshell. And I hope you enjoyed it. It is kind of a personal thing to open up a studio, especially when it's in a kind of a schlocky state. But I figured if I didn't do it now, it could be months before I get around to doing it for you. So I'll show it again maybe sometime when it's totally polished out. But then it'll get polished out, and then I'll start using it, and then it'll get even messier, right? So it doesn't really matter. But anyway, have a great time. Love you guys. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're healthy. I hope we're getting over this thing. It feels like we're on the tail end of it. I feel like things are getting back to normal. We will be starting back up the next term, right? So this is great. We got one more 5-week term where we just started it. Then we have about a 3 or 4 week break. And then we're back on to actually doing both streaming and brick and mortar and the online. So you have 3 choices. If you can come out and join us in person, we'd love to have you. I think it's nothing like it. It could be like a working vacation for you. But it is, you know, going to cost some money and time. So just, if not, continue on with your streaming, continue on with your online, and you're gonna have plenty of the bases covered. Okay? Take care. Hope you guys are doing well. See you soon. Cheers.